So this is an ad I shot for tails.com. This guy hired me for a consulting call, I think on MentorPass or something, and we had a good chat, and then he sent me the product, and then I forget, I just think I sent him he sent me the product with this Post-it note on it, because it's a deck of cards, and I thought that was really cute. So I sent him a picture of that, and then he tweeted at me to hey, make some ads for me. And I was like, sure, but here's what I need. I'm gonna kick you guys off stage, actually. So anyway, we agreed on a way for me to do it together, and I did what I wanted, which is my parents were coming over. If you don't already know, Tails is a deck of cards to interview people with, particularly your parents. So you can just have stuff to talk to them about, it's kind of silly. Do you need a deck of cards for that? No, not really. But by having the deck of cards, it kind of forces you to actually do it. And it's made for Zoom, actually. So let me pull this up. It's a 3-minute ad. Why did I make a 3-minute ad? Because I've had 3-minute ads work before. And generally the same way, Yasmin, I was telling you to make a longer ad. My point here is that if people you're going to be able to get people's attention and you can get them to stick around and keep watching, you might as well do it. Make content that is relevant to the audience, to the problem, to whatever, and just have it sell a little bit. So you don't have to play this whole 3-minute thing because we only have 15 minutes here, but I'm going to let this rip.
I want you to tell me about the time you got into the most trouble with your parents.
Just to be clear, are you guys able to hear and see this? Yes. Okay.
Wow. Okay. Okay. When I was, there's a couple of times.
I'm going to let you hear the rest in a second, but if you're interested, click this link after you're done watching my dad tell me an embarrassing story. Check out Tails, the interview kit that enabled this amazing experience I just had with my dad. And that's tails.com. Check it out.
When I was 16, when I got arrested with my sister, I think my brother Larry was with us, and a couple of other kids, I don't know who they were. And I was driving with a doctored license because I only had a junior license. And the reason we got pulled over is because this idiot who was in the car with us yelled out the window at the fuzz suck.
Someone in your car?
Yes.
To a cop?
To a cop. And then instead of pulling over, I tried to outrun the cops.
How are you not
in
got jail?
Pulled over, and my parents had to come and get us from the East Hampton police station. And then we had to come back months later.
Yeah, to go to court.
And go to court.
And remind me, what do you do for a living?
I'm a lawyer.
Okay, so I'll pause there. So it goes on for another minute or so, talking about, he actually goes into another embarrassing story, where he talks about stealing a car. These are genuine things I did not know about my dad. And then it ends with me saying I think I ended up saying
lawyer for clients.
Okay, good.
What did I say?
Amazing.
And then I just added an end card at the end here.
Pops, I learned something new about you. Holy cow. That's crazy. Click now to get the interview kit from tails.com.
So just to add an end card on there in case anyone got to the end. And weirdly, people have gotten to the end. So sorry for making you watch all that and watch my dad tell the story. But I did a few other edits of this. So actually, sorry to show, this is not my account set up. Don't worry about it. But I did a few other edits. And they look very different. And they perform very different. I'm going to show you a couple other hooks. Here's a different hook.
My parents are on their way over. I've been meaning to get to know them a little bit better. So I got these Tails life story interview kit to interview my parents and learn more about them.
Very different vibe, very different hook, very different set of people that like would pay attention to this. So I just wanted to share that. Had music, that had product first, my face first. Here's another different version. I think this is a different hook as well.
My parents are on their way over. I've been meaning to get to know them a little bit better, so I got
similar
Tails life story interview kit to interview my parents.
It like has an unboxing. Like nobody needs this. These ads, these two versions didn't do that well. I don't think anyone's ready to see the unboxing here yet.
Let's see what happens.
Like nobody cares. Nobody has a reason to yet. And then by the time we've gotten to this point where I show my dad, I unveil my dad, the most interesting thing, I think I've already lost a giant portion of the audience. I think I've already lost interest here.
I just asked him this question and just learned something.
So this is an area I'd want to trim to. I think I have another version that starts around here.
I just asked him this question and just learned something I never, ever, ever, ever would have expected he would ever tell me. I certainly didn't expect it would have ever happened. That includes a story about him, this man, my father, who I've known.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just also going on way too long here, way too slowly. But like I talk about how he went to jail, and then, but there is an emotional connection here. So that's the other thing I like about this. So that clip exists, and then one other version here.
This is my dad.
Yeah, this is the one I was talking about. It starts.
I just asked him this question and just learned something.
Didn't show that long enough on the screen, by the way, for anyone to actually read this. So there's a lot of problems here. So I want to show you those clips because I want to talk about like what I'm going to be doing to work on this. First thing, by the way, hey Jess, good to see you. Jess, feel free to crap on this as much as you'd like. And Pascal, I just saw your question about ask questions. Yes, you can ask questions after this. But I do have a hard stop in a few minutes. So sorry. But yeah, one of the first things I want to do is like get a new hook. I like this hook a lot.
I want you to tell me about the time.
I like that this immediately thrusts you into no music. It's doesn't look or feel like an ad. It's overexposed here. It's out of focus here. You see this guy. It's actually, by the way, shot. It's shot 9:16, so it looks much better. In full vertical, so it's actually too long for reels, so that's a separate problem that I need to work on. But like it looks much better in full vertical, but totally works fine in 4:5 in feeds. But I really like that about this. Is it like it's like trimmed to start right at this.
I want you to tell me about the time you got into the most trouble with your parents.
Which I think that alone as a hook, anyone listening to that or watching that is not feeling like they're being advertised to. That's what I like about this a lot. It's storytelling. It is captivating. It is hopefully interesting. It is going to create curiosity, and I think it's going to get people to like be like, you know what? Yeah, I will stick around and watch this. What I want to do to make this a little bit better. Interesting. Yeah, Jess, good call about the older person, but I think that works for both the parent and the child. Like I think that works well for both both people as the audience, but we'll see. I want to get one of these other moments up in the front. That's my biggest priority is like get like this moment right here.
The cops and suck yelled out the window at the fuzz suck.
Someone in your
so that I want to use as a hook.
Your car to a cop.
And then this one too. Then, I want to use this as a hook.
And then instead of pulling over, I tried to outrun the cops.
That itself is something I would literally just snip and put right in the beginning, and people would understand that by having that up in the front. I might have to add something else about it that to come in and say like, I might just record me saying like, well, if you want to hear the rest of the story, stick around. Which is like a YouTube thing. Like that's a trick I learned from YouTube. From both watching YouTube and watching YouTubers talk about YouTube is like having that curiosity gap there. So that like you're teasing something that will be revealed later in the video is such an easy thing you can do in your ads. So yeah, and then this other one where the other moment where he talks about taking a car for a joyride. With
a girl in Greenwich Estates.
But now that's boring.
There was a gas station
Nope, boring.
And I don't know what prompted me
Yeah, I would start with, I don't know what prompted me.
to look in. There was a Corvair.
Okay.
I'd maybe snip
Corvair
this.
that was
I'd maybe snip a lot of this out, but we'll see. Maybe there's a better, more potent part here.
parked
Yeah.
in the side of the gas station.
Sure.
And the keys were in it.
Oh no.
So, and it was a stick shift, which of course I knew how to drive already because I had been stealing school buses since I was 12.
I would use that one as well. I've been stealing school buses since I was 12 is also a hilarious, I think a hilarious jumping off point. Man, the comments are jumping off in this video thing here. Everyone's using fuzz suck as a new thumb stop these days. It's brilliant. Yeah, I can't wait to see Savannah Sanchez come out with that hook in her newsletter. Shout out to Savannah Sanchez. No hate. I love Savannah's work. But yeah, I agree with Matthew. Had a good point. Like doing some trailers, like make it basically almost make a trailer, like show the ridiculous things that he says. I don't want to reveal all of it because then there's nothing else to see later, right? And then there's almost no point in like listening to the whole story because now you know the punchline, you know the payoff for all of it. So there's that, and then also like this is like if you really listen to this, what I do like about this video is how much I let him just say all of the stuff he has to say. How many like silly, stupid details are left in, like the name of the towns and the name of his brother. Like those are all details. When I go do a much more I'll call it a more passionate edit. I'm going to snip the shit out of it. I'm going to go through and slash and burn anything that does not move the story forward, anything that does not keep the viewer captivated. That is what my job is. We did not, Jess, good question. We didn't look at the time chart for this one, but we can. Jess, what do you think about this? By the way, Jess, you can, Matthew, think you could call on the laughing. I agree. The authenticity of the video, I think, is what makes it worth continuing to watch. But also, it is a slow video. My dad's talking kind of slowly, so it does skew these metrics we're looking at. So like when a lot of us are talking about, hook rates and hold rates and like even looking at a chart like this, it's kind of biased, does it matter that he's speaking slower so people are watching 45 seconds, or would it be better if he was speaking quicker and got everything communicated in 15 seconds? Like that watch time is deceiving, I think, to me, but still a good useful point to know that like literally 5% of people made it to 50 seconds. That's insane.
Barry, if you look at from 30 seconds to over a minute, people are locked in to this video.
Yeah, exactly. It's crazy.
There's like no drop off.
It's no drop off, and they're letting it rip to the end. Like, yeah. I mean, you can't know because the max it tells you is 1 minute, but like 5%. Like, think about 5%. If you had a 5% click through rate, like that would be pretty great. We have a 5% like watch to a minute. That's insane attention.
That's the best I've ever seen, to be honest.
I mean, actually, I wish I could go back and look at my flock chicken chip ad because that's another 3-minute, piece of art that I made with no edits, by the way. And anyway, I don't want to get into it, but that one definitely has similar kind of metrics. But this is unusual, and this is really storytelling. This is less of an ad. This is a story with like, I don't know, a 5-second ad spot in it that barely had any drop off anyway. Yeah, because it's in this section here, like you can see there's barely drop off when I go to mention the ad part. Like people are still wanting to stick around for the rest of it. So I think that if anything, what I want to do is use a better hook here, because if I know people are sticking around to pay attention, I want to get more people in. I want to get more relevant people in to give them more of a reason to watch. Because if a lot of people are just seeing like this, all right, in the hook, they're seeing like, all right, well, I don't know who this guy is. I don't care what this card is. Then they're going to skip. But if I can give them more of a story nugget, a little teaser up in the front, think about it more of a storytelling video rather than an ad, then I might get them to stick around and watch longer and realize, oh man, and maybe I might put a second ad spot in later in the ad saying like, if you want to have this amazing experience with your family, click now, buy it. Like, I think there's a stronger call to action I could have here. But yeah, Jess or Matthew or anyone, feel free to rip this apart. Give me any other feedback here.
The work of art, man. What can I say?
Okay. Thanks, Jess.
Yeah, I really like this. I think the laughing, there's got to be some psychology behind that. I just think it makes it a little bit more raw, but even when he's slowly speaking, it almost fills that space where it doesn't feel awkward. So that's harder to plan that, but it's just one of those moments that you caught and it's just perfect. So I love that.
I mean, I couldn't believe that. Yeah, thank you. Good call out. Like, this was real. This is not scripted. This was like, he did like 3 takes of me. I had to do 3 takes of me like introing the card here, but like this was the one and only take. Literally, my parents were babysitting my daughter, so we could, like, my wife and I could go out, and this is all we had time to. All we had time to shoot was 1 take, and that's what we got. And then I had to go to dinner. And it was just like, I was just like, oh my God, that was an amazing thing. And now, like, I have, I don't know, like, however other many cards in there, like I can go and ask my dad other weird questions and I'll go get weird answers from. So that I'm excited about, to see what else I can learn about my dad and put in an ad. But yeah,
his reaction to the question was also good. Like,
that was killer, right?
Yeah. And it kind of reminds me of like, like those videos on YouTube where they'll ask 100 people the same question, and at the very beginning they'll like cut through the reactions, like, ooh, I don't know. So potentially that could be something that's interesting if you want to show off a breadth of the different cards.
Yeah,
you could ask a bunch of questions and do that. But I love this ad. This is cool.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I actually, sorry, go ahead, Jess.
Quickly, one thing I think is missing is putting some words to the benefits of this conversation and story. Like, if you had cut in and you were like, I've never had so much fun with my dad. This is the best time we've had in years.
Love it.
We see that, but you need to put those words in people's heads too.
I think that's a great call out. And that's the other big edit I want to make here is in the hook, like in the thumbnail and in the hook, I want to cover, literally, I'm going to put a text overlay here. Like, think about this. Like, there's no text overlay here. Like, this was V1. This was V1, and this is already potentially the best ad in the entire account, just to be clear. From a CPA and a potential scale perspective, it's not there yet, but it should be any day now. So, like, if I put a text overlay here, I could test at least 5 versions right here of like, what you just said, right? I genuinely didn't know these stories from my dad, or my dad went to jail, or my dad got arrested, ? Like, there are infinite little text headline blurbs I would put on this just in the thumbnail and the first 3 seconds alone that I would expect to see in a TikTok or an Instagram post version of this if these were more organic. And the other trick I want to do with that is cover his face. I want to cover his face because nobody cares who he is. And in fact, people seeing his face, in my opinion, from my experience, people seeing someone's face they do not recognize is a good way to lose attention quickly. Unless they have a really good reason to be paying attention to this guy. If they don't know him because he's not a celebrity, he's not a family member, he's not a friend, they don't want to continue watching because they're like, who is this? So it has to either be a good viral piece of, like, a not viral, but like good attention grabbing, keeping piece of content, or otherwise be super relevant. So that's the other nugget I'll give there, is that's what the next few versions are probably going to have, is text overlays there. Any last thoughts or words before we hop off here? Yes, Jess, you're killing me, the fuzz suck guy. I hope my dad gets heckled on the street for that now. In his apartment, in his retirement home complex. Anyway, anything else before we hang up? All right, I waited the mandatory 7 seconds. Thank you, everyone, for joining here. I really appreciate it. I hope you found this valuable. If you have any feedback, please DM me or post it publicly. Tell me I suck. That's totally fine. If I did anything offensive, please tell Andrew Foxwell immediately if I've upset you. But I hope you found this valuable. Thanks, everyone.